Today, January 22nd, is a National Day of Prayer for the legal protection of the unborn. And abortion is a challenging topic to talk about because it's such a point of controversy in our society, but it's not really challenging to grasp the basic reasoning behind why the church teaches that abortion is morally wrong. It's not like it's some dogma of divine revelation that we have to accept as a matter of faith, like the doctrine of the Trinity. The church teaches that abortion is wrong the same way that she teaches that murder is wrong, and for the same reason, because abortion, like murder, is the killing of an innocent human life. And you don't need to be a person of religious faith to understand that that's wrong. So those who argue that abortion is morally permissible have to make the case that abortion is not the killing of an innocent human life. And that means either the child in the womb is not alive, in which case, how can it be growing and developing and doing all of the other things we associate with life, or that it's not human, in which case, what is it, right? And is it some form of non-human life? And how does it then later become human? And what's the evidence for that? Or that it's not innocent, in which case we have to ask, well, what crime did that child commit? And why does it deserve the death penalty? No, none of those positions makes sense in terms of reason or science. And so you don't need to be a religious person to understand this. Of course, the other option is to argue that it's not always wrong to kill an innocent human being, and that some human life is worth more than others. And here's where our church has something really important to say. Because the Catholic Church teaches that each and every human being is made in the image and likeness of God and is loved by God. And in fact, God made us to love and to be loved. And that means each and every human person has intrinsic value that doesn't arise from our capabilities or our accomplishments or our gender or our race or our age or ability or anything else. Each person is a good in themselves with inalienable dignity. And that's true of the child in the womb. It's also true of the mother struggling to carry that child. It's true of the mentally and physically disabled. It's true of the immigrant and the refugee. It's true of the homeless, of the elderly, of people of every race and color. In fact, there is not a single human person that God doesn't love and who isn't worthy of our love. Now, today we focus on the unborn, especially because it's the anniversary of Roe versus Wade. You know, one of the reasons why it's so much easier for us to accept the killing of the child in the womb is because the child in the womb is small and silent and largely invisible. And that's why it's important for us to pray for a conversion of hearts around this matter so that we can begin to see that child in the womb not as a problem that can be solved with a so-called procedure, but as a person to love. Because if we can start to do that, then we can also look at that mother struggling through a crisis pregnancy, not as a problem to solve, but as a person who needs love. We can look at the homeless, not as a problem to solve, but as a person to love. We can look at the immigrant, the refugee, not as a problem to solve, but as persons to love. That no matter what the differences might be between you and your neighbor is a person to love. And that the foundation that we have to build upon in order to solve any of the problems in our society is that foundation of the innate dignity of every human person. God bless.